A racist cop arrested a black woman in front of her son. He didn't know she was a federal prosecutor. What followed changed an entire police department. Watch this 2-part true-to-life story of courage, justice, and strength. Subscribe for more powerful stories that expose injustice and celebrate truth. Your support helps more voices be heard. It was a warm afternoon in Atlanta. Traffic was slow, the air thick, the sun low. On the highway's edge, a black woman named Danielle Brooks drove home with her 8-year-old son, Malik, after soccer practice. Her car was clean, her tags were current, and her license was valid. She was humming along to the radio when she noticed flashing blue lights in her mirror. Her son turned down the volume. "Mom, did we do something wrong?" Danielle smiled calmly. "No, baby, we didn't." She pulled to the side. Within seconds, a police cruiser skidded behind them. A tall white officer stepped out, sunglasses glinting. His hand rested on his holster before he even approached. License and registration. He barked before she could speak. Danielle handed them over without a word. The officer glanced at her documents, then frowned. "This car registered to you?" "Yes," Danielle said. "Mind stepping out for me?" She asked, "Can I know why I'm being stopped?" "Step out," he repeated sharply. Her son's eyes widened. "Mom!" "It's okay, sweetheart," she whispered. Danielle stepped out. The air was hot, the asphalt stifling. "Turn around," he ordered. She hesitated. "Officer, I'm cooperating. But may I ask what this is about?" That question triggered him. He grabbed her arm roughly. "You people always have questions. Turn around." Malik screamed from the back seat. "Stop hurting my mom." Danielle kept her voice calm, her eyes steady. "Officer, you're making a mistake." He shoved her against the hood and cuffed her hands tightly. Traffic slowed as cars passed. Drivers stared, some recording on their phones. Malik cried, banging on the window. Another officer arrived and whispered something to the first one to run her name. The first said dismissively. The second officer looked uneasy. "You sure you want to do it?" Danielle stood silent, tears pooling but not falling. A few minutes later, the radio squawked with a response. The second officer's face turned pale. He whispered, "Sergeant, we have a problem." The first cop frowned. "What kind of problem?" The second officer handed him the tablet. The first cop read the screen. His confidence evaporated instantly. On the screen was a profile. Danielle Brooks, ESQ, United States Federal Prosecutor, Department of Justice. The air changed. The silence was heavy. He looked at her, realizing what he had done. She spoke evenly. "Now you know who I am. But you didn't need to treat me with respect." Her words sliced through the moment. The second officer stepped forward, quickly unlocking her cuffs. "I'm so sorry, ma'am," he said nervously. The first cop stammered. "Ma'am, I thought—" "You thought wrong," she interrupted quietly. "My son watched you throw me against a car for nothing. How do you think he'll see your badge now?" He couldn't answer. Danielle gathered her son, held him close, and drove away without another word. The video from bystanders spread online within hours. By nightfall, her name trended across social media. Comments flooded in. Some in disbelief, some furious. A few defending the officer until the Department of Justice confirmed her position. The story grew fast. A woman representing federal law had been assaulted by a man sworn to uphold it. The morning after the arrest, Danielle Brooks walked into her office at the Department of Justice wearing a crisp navy suit. Her face was calm, her voice steady, but her eyes told a different story. Every agent, clerk, and attorney in the building had seen the video. Some looked at her with sympathy, others with silent respect. She wasn't just another prosecutor anymore. She was the face of a system that had humiliated its own defender. Her supervisor, Deputy Attorney General Morris, called her in. "Danielle, we're launching an investigation. The officer's conduct was excessive. You're within your rights to press charges." She nodded. I intend to. Danielle wasn't out for revenge. She wanted accountability. Her first move was to file a civil rights violation complaint under Federal Statute 18 U.S. Code Section 242, deprivation of rights under color of law. Every word of her report was factual. No emotion, no exaggeration. But her case spoke louder than any outrage. Video evidence. Witness statements. Police body cam footage. Each piece told the same story. A woman profiled, cuffed, and humiliated for existing in the wrong skin. The Atlanta Police Department scrambled. Public relations called it a misunderstanding. They offered a formal apology and promised sensitivity training. Danielle rejected the statement outright. Training doesn't undo trauma, she said during a press conference. Accountability does. Her words went viral again. Communities rallied. Lawyers volunteered support. Parents across the country said they saw their own children in Malik's terrified eyes. Weeks later, the courtroom was packed. Officer Ryan Mullen sat at the defendant's table, avoiding her gaze. Danielle stood on the other side, not as a prosecutor this time, but as a plaintiff. The judge entered. The room fell silent. Her attorney, Marcus Reed, presented the evidence in chronological order. Dashcam video, witness footage, official reports. Each image showed the same pattern of abuse cloaked as authority. When it was Danielle's turn to testify, the entire room leaned forward. I'm not here because I was hurt physically, she said clearly. I'm here because my son saw me handcuffed and helpless. Even though I did everything right, I'm here because this is what too many of us live through, and it doesn't stop unless someone says enough. Her words landed heavy. Even the judge's pen paused mid-note. Officer Mullen's attorney tried to argue standard protocol. He said, my client perceived a threat. Danielle looked at him steadily. What threat? She asked. A mother in a car seat? A child with a soccer ball? The defense faltered. When cross-examined, Mullen admitted he had no probable cause. He admitted her plates were valid. He admitted his actions were based on suspicion. The judge asked, suspicion of what? Mullen hesitated. She didn't look like someone who drive that car. The room froze up. That single sentence sealed his fate. After hours of deliberation, the court ruled in Danielle's favor. The officer was found guilty of violating her civil rights and using unlawful force. He was terminated from the department and barred from future law enforcement service. The city settled with Danielle for an undisclosed sum, but she donated most of it to a fund supporting victims of racial profiling. Her decision made national headlines. A month later, Danielle returned to the DOJ podium. This time, she wasn't giving a legal update. She was leading an initiative. Her new project, Justice Seen, focused on mandatory bias accountability, reviews within police departments. Standing before a room of reporters, she said, justice isn't something you wear on a badge. It's something you live by. Applause followed. Her son Malik stood nearby. Holding her hand, he whispered, Mom, are they going to stop hurting people now? She smiled softly. They'll think twice, she said. And that's where change begins. Months later, Danielle and Malik walked through a park on a calm afternoon. No flashing lights, no sirens, just peace. A woman approached and said, You changed my life. My daughter saw your story and said she wants to be a lawyer one day. Danielle smiled, grateful. Tell her the law belongs to her, too. They walked on, sunlight breaking through the trees. For once, Malik ran ahead, laughing freely. And Danielle finally breathed. Her fight had become a movement. Justice wasn't about who she was. It was about what she stood for.